Hello everybody and welcome to the Lynn Life. Tomorrow is Justin's birthday and I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to bake a triple layer cake from scratch. So let's get going. My name is Jonathan and I'm a caregiver for my wife Lynn, who has a permanent brain injury. Things are a bit different now, but we're doing the best that we can. Join us as we experience the Lynn Life. I'm gathering up my supplies, and you're going to help me. I'm taking you on this adventure of building baking a triple layer cake. I've made layer cakes before, but they've always been a box mix. So this time I want to do it completely from scratch. I'm looking for a cake that's a little richer, a little more dense, and it's not a surprise for Justin. We've talked about what kind of cake we're going to bake. I've dug out Lynn's old Betty Crocker cookbook, and we're going to bake a chocolate cake, and I'm going to make a homemade peanut butter frosting. Something that he likes, the peanut butter chocolate thing, Reese's Pieces, that type of thing. So it should be good. Also, Justin's birthday, because it's tomorrow, I have to plan like I've done every year since he was a kid. I've always done something a little bit unique, something special to make his day special. Right from the beginning. When he was a little guy, I remember one year I filled his bedroom up with balloons while he was sleeping. So in the morning you had to wade through them. The downside of that was that we had to live with those balloons for months. So I switched to streamers after that, and I would make like a spider web of streamers throughout his room that he'd have to make his way through that. And that was when he was small, and he would go to bed early, and he was always a pretty good sleeper. So I could sneak in there and do it. Well, now, of course, he's much older. He's going to be 23 tomorrow. So we switched to other types of stuff. He still expects me to do something kind of crazy for him. So this year I've come up with something new that I'm going to do as soon as he wakes up. Now, he's not here right now, so he doesn't know anything about this. He's at the Root Farm. That's where he works during the summer. And he started that this week. So I got something right over here that I'm going to, as he wakes up, he usually wakes up around 7:30 in the morning, between 7:30 and 8. I'm going to stick this in his doorway. This is a giant confetti cannon. It's actually meant for outdoors. I talked to the woman at Party City when I bought this today. And she thought, no, it'll be all right for indoors, but it's generally outdoors. It's very loud, and it shoots a lot of confetti. So she told me, make sure you don't shoot at him. So my plan is to stick it in his door as he's waking up, and boom! It should fill his room with confetti, and it'll be up to him to clean it up, not me. But it should be should be fun. And that's what I'm doing this year for his birthday to make it special. He'll never forget it. As I mentioned, I'm using one of Lynn's old Betty Crocker cookbooks that I found on the shelf. And in the pie and cake section, I found a best chocolate cake, which looked perfect. So that's what we're going to make. cake is complete. Looks good, smells good, could be a success. I think we're heading down the right direction. Now we're going to start the frosting. And in the Betty Crocker cookbook, the recipe under the vanilla frosting, it says down below, peanut butter frosting is basically the same recipe, except that you substitute peanut butter instead of butter. And you increase the amount of milk a little bit. So let's give that a shot. Well, the cake tastes good. The frosting tastes good, and together they taste delicious. But as far as presentation and construction, total disaster. The cakes, it's a triple layer cake, and the pieces kind of stuck to the pan at the bottom. I got them out in one piece. I figured I could hide it with frosting, and then the weight of the frosting just made the whole cake start falling apart. Well, this is a perfect life lesson, because even with all the planning in the world, life doesn't always come out exactly as you planned. A good example is with Lynn, my wife Lynn. We never planned for her to be disabled, but you've got to continue. You got to just power through it, and that's exactly what we're doing with the cake. And we did sample some of the cake and the frosting, and it's still delicious. Well, it's the next day, and we're moving on. The cake was not a success. I mean, it tastes good, and we're going to eat it, but it just didn't come out. The presentation wasn't there. But Justin doesn't care. It's still going to taste good. That's fine. So today, we're moving on with the ribs. I've got 2 racks of ribs in the oven. We're going to bake them at 275 for between 2-3 hours, and then hopefully they get nice and tender, or I'm going to keep them in the oven until they are, and then I'm going to slather them with some barbecue sauce and put it on the grill to give a nice char and sort of caramelize the barbecue sauce, and hopefully they'll be good. And then I'm also making some cornbread, and I'm going to saute some green beans. So it's sort of a nice southern dinner. Justin really loves barbecue. This was his choice for a birthday dinner, so we're going to give it to him. I also was successful with the cannon, the confetti cannon this morning. I had it all ready, and I heard Justin getting up in the morning. And so I ran upstairs real quick before he could please start, hopped in the shower or something. And I knocked on his door. He goes, yeah, and I opened up the door. He was already up. And then I let the cannon blast, right? And his room is now covered with confetti. And he thought it was funny. He laughed. He thought it was very funny. I don't think I mentioned this to you yesterday, but I also made a sign for him. He's off at work right now. He's up at the root farm. And I made a sign that says, "Kick me, it's my birthday." And I put it on his back as he left the house this morning. Here's a picture of the sign. And the way I managed to do that was, it was going to be sunny today, and I wanted to make sure I always make sure he has sunscreen on. So I always ask him if he has sunscreen on. And I said, here, let me get your neck. It's tough to get your neck really good. So I started spraying his neck a little bit. And when he pulled down his shirt a little bit, okay, I spray it on. And then I stuck that sign on him. He never had any idea. What I had to be careful of was Lynn. So when Lynn sees that sign, which she did, she started to say, what does this say on your shirt? And I interrupted her immediately, so that he wouldn't be suspicious. And I knew she was going to do that, so I tried to put the sign on just before he left, but she still saw it. But anyways, he left. He'll be coming home this afternoon, and it'll be interesting to see what people at his work said when they saw the sign. Well, the meal is complete. We've consumed it. And Justin, did I redeem myself on the ribs?
You did. They're good. Fall off the bone.
They were good. I can do meat. Maybe I'm not as much of a baker. I can bake though. But for some reason that cake didn't work out. But back to the drawing board on that. But we are eating it. We haven't eaten it yet. We sampled little pieces of it. And it tastes good. But we're going to have some of that a little bit later. Update on the cake. It was delicious. The cake and the frosting were perfect. We're sitting out on the patio right now. And I think you had a good birthday.
I did.
You enjoyed the confetti?
Yeah.
How about the sign I put on your back?
No.
He came in the door when he got back from work. He goes, what did you actually say? You said, how'd you put that sign on? Or
Yeah, I said, you got me.
oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, that was a surprise. So I got to had that. That was funny. But yeah, the ribs are really good. They were fall off the bone. They came out excellent. Lynn enjoyed them too. And we had some sauteed string beans and some cornbread. All that was good. And we have leftovers. We got quite a bit of ribs left over. They were very meaty. They were very meaty.
Better than restaurant quality.
And sometimes you get ribs in a restaurant and it's not a whole lot of meat on it. These were meaty. These were delicious. So good job with that. So I think that's about it, right? Yeah. Happy birthday again. Everybody wish Justin a happy birthday in the comments. And we'll see you next time on the Lynn Life.